Buy the latest song by Timcast, Coming Home. Go to getcominghome.com, buy the song on iTunes, and with your support, we will smash those Billboard charts. From Politico, I love this. 8 body language tells from the vice presidential debate. Okay, well, first of all, this is going viral, right? And the first thing I want to start with is Walz's wide eyes. This was lighting up X all day. Tim Walz's eyes super just lit up, sure.
Look at that guy.
And if you guys want to know what that is, it's this. Okay, for those that are just listening, you can't see it, but you can hear everybody laughing. It's Tim Walz's unnaturally wide open eyes. I don't quite understand look, I'm not trying to be mean. It is a little crass, but people keep putting cocaine in the chat. Like the assumption is that he's on uppers and he's wired.
You don't think he looks passionate?
Doesn't look like passion to me. But Politico says it's hard to read. When Walz felt especially passionate about something, he'd open his eyes wide as saucers. Eye popping can sometimes be a sign of surprise, but for Walz, it simply revealed his emotional intensity. Like this moment during an exchange about abortion, the orbicularis oculi muscle, working in concert with the corrugator and frontalis muscles, contract to raise the eyebrows, a dynamic and emphatic facial motion that grabbed the viewer's attention. Early humans would have made such facial gestures to communicate strong emotions, like danger is close. For Walz, it gave extra weight to his feelings and held our gaze. I guarantee you the writer in the newsroom who was instructed by their editor to write that was crying the whole time, and they had a bottle of Jack that they were swigging down because they knew what they were writing was the most absurd piece of garbage they've ever been tasked with writing.
This was written, I think, by a body language expert who apparently has consulted for the FBI. I mean, this is not good. I actually think this line is pretty telling, because as soon as he's like, early humans would have said this was a sign of danger, meaning that Walz is standing there panicking. Like, he senses he himself is in danger.
Well,
and that's why his eyes are open so
And he's telling us about Kamala Harris's campaign. Like, guys, we're dangerous. Like, watch out for us.
I'm sorry, guys. It gets worse. I mean, that was pretty bad. The first one they have is, yes, Vance's beard matters. Check this one out. One of the first bits of nonverbal communication to appear in the debate was on JD Vance's face, his beard. As Politico magazine has noted before, Vance is the first White House wannabe to wear facial hair in 80 years. Our appearance is fundamental to our body language, and research indicates that voters see beards as, surprise, surprise, more masculine. That can be positive to some, reading as strength and competence, but to others, especially women, it can be negative, conveying aggression and opposition to feminist ideals.
Win?
The beard is a sign of oppression.
Hannah Claire, in your general opinion as a woman, do women like beards?
Thank you.
You
got two men here with beards, you got two without a beard. So
look, women do like beards. I mean, maybe not all of them. They're not a universal species, but I actually think the beard is sort of number one, I actually think it's to cover up the fact that he's kind of a baby face. But two, because beard is the contour of men. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And two, I actually think in some ways it's an ode to his Appalachian ties. I have never seen so many beards, especially like long, full beards, as when I moved to West Virginia. This is the land of bearded men. And so in some ways, he's actually just kind of honoring his heritage in a much more, clean-cut, shaven way. Again, I actually think the reason JD Vance has a beard is because he has a baby face and it's the makeup for men. But in this case, I think this idea that somehow a beard is to signal that he is anti-feminism is sort of ludicrous. I think this is very much grasping at straws.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly why mainstream media is struggling right now. If you're looking for examples, that's a perfect example. And in the meantime, I looked up 2 studies, one by the University of Queensland, if they want to stick to facts. 1,000 American women, majority of them prefer beards. They found men with more facial hair more attractive. Another one by whatsyourprice.com survey, because so many people care about this. 2,500 women, over 60% of them found facial hair attractive. So some numbers here.
It's like women like masculine
I'm keeping
men.
my beard.
What a concept.
I got it. I got to do it.
I've been growing mine out for 40 years. 2 years I got this. Took me forever.
We showed the picture of Tim Walz, and look, I know I tweeted this out, and people are looking at it, and I'm going to get a bunch of Democrats mad at me for posting this. This is an actual screen grab that Politico.com posted on their article about this, and all I did was screen grab a photo of the man's face. I didn't say anything. Okay, I wrote soon.
Be mad at Politico.
But it would only be fair if I show you JD Vance. So take a look at this. You can see there's old JD with the beard, and I want to tell you why he's wearing the beard. You guys want to see why he's wearing the beard?
Yes.
Okay, here's a picture of JD Vance without the beard. That's and to be fair, he's a little chubbier.
Yeah, it looks like he lost weight since then.
And it's on, what is it, the subreddit 13 or 30. So talk about, is that a glow up? Is that what they call it?
I think it is. I think it's what they call a glow up. He has fuller cheeks. He's a baby face. But I actually don't even think that is not in his favor. I mean, he stood on that stage and he's like, I'm 40 and I have 3 kids and I'm married. Like, there are so many Americans who look at that and say, goals, ideal, this is it. The beard is great. Look a little bit older, look like a little bit outdoorsy, whatever. But it's not an oppressive signal. It's because he has a baby face.
I think it shows you how much our country hates men, where this political writer is annoyed by the fact that somebody has a beard. And this would have been, I mean, if you look at just pictures of the presidents for most of our history, most of them had beards, and probably about half of them, from what I remember. But if right now the Democrats are upholding Doug Emhoff, who, is now, a new story came out today saying that he punched a girlfriend or something to that effect. And Tim Walz, these are paragons of masculinity, and these are who we should emulate instead of a guy from the Midwest, who's 40 years old, has 3 kids and a wife, and is happily married and has a normal set of relationships.
I just want to point out this fake body language stuff. I think it's pseudoscience. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, I don't know. They're going to put one of those YouTube fact check tags. Body language is real. Tim is wrong. But you see these YouTube videos where there'll be like some dude watching Biden with the volume turned down, and he'll just be like, Joe here is raising his right hand. That indicates that he's being dishonest. And if you look at his face, that's not a real smile. And people love and eat this stuff up, which is why Politico is now doing it. They're bringing on, what is this, author of the international bestseller, What Every Body Is Saying, an ex-FBI agent's guide to speed reading people and the dictionary of body language. Okay, look, body language is real. I know it is. People in sales understand, when people are defensive, they're covering their chest and things like this. But to look at like Tim Walz pointing when he talks, and it's like, oh, well, this means something. No, it doesn't. He's just gesturing with his hands. Calm down.
I also don't think claiming, saying I worked for the FBI is actually a good credential in today's America.
That was my point.
Nice. I'm from the FBI, so therefore I'm an expert.
So I think it's important. Like, I used to be obsessed with body language. I studied it many, many years ago. The main thing you'd look for is not these silly examples. That's just for entertainment. You'd look for deviations from the norm. Like, once you look into proper body language, it's actually very, very boring and not interesting enough for mainstream media. So everything you've talked about now, obviously the beard is completely stupid. The pointing is dumb. Like, you've just got to look at how it deviates from the norm, how they've been acting the entire time, how they usually act, and what changes throughout the debate. So if he's always pointing, and then let's say JD Vance says something or Tim Walz says something, and then he doesn't point or points downwards, then you can comment on that. But just like, hey, he pointed, he means this, or his eyes mean that. That's just entertainment, as you said, pseudoscience.
In the first debate, Trump was asked about his comments, like Kamala Harris sometimes chooses to be black and sometimes chooses to be Indian, and he responded to that. And then he gave whatever answer, and they turned to her and they said, "Do you want to respond?" And she looked completely down. It was the deviation that stood out to me because she, before had sort of been posturing as her lady boss. She knew at times to put up her hand or then take it back down, whatever. But that was the one where she looked truly uncomfortable. I think you're totally right. Wanting to be like, well, he has a beard and this guy opened his eyes wide is actually kind of running cover for the issue that you're trying to portray, which is like that JD Vance is a mean man and Tim Walz is a sensitive sweetie.
It's also sad, like, this was a very civil discussion about, important topics, yet they put out a whole article about their body language. I just think they're focusing.
Look at this one.
How was beard?
Vance, look at this. Vance let a little frown give him away. When Walz brought up Project 2025, Vance exhibited a little tell that carried a big message, a slight squinting of the eyes and a small frown. Clearly, this was a sore subject. When we hear something we're unhappy or uncomfortable with, the negative emotion flashes over our face, exactly as we saw here. We have to guard against such behaviors, blah, blah, blah. It's because he's lying. It's because JD Vance is thinking he is lying. We don't do Project 2025. But you see how they frame this? They're trying to make it seem like JD Vance is actually, he's got me.
Yeah, so when he squints, it means it's discomfort. But the reason he feels uncomfortable is not, so you can interpret it in different ways. So they interpret it as like, hey, he got me. Well, as you've explained it, no, he's lying and I'm pissed off he's lying, so I've squinted accordingly. So again, the way you interpret body language could be,
And it's like,
I think it's all pseudoscience.
it's like, of course they're bringing it up again. Of course he's going to bring it up. He's like, he should have rolled his eyes at that moment. Would have been the same response.
They should have included one where Walz spent the whole time rapidly scribbling talking points. And
What do you think?
What do you think that body language
What was he writing?
Yeah,
He was drawing pictures of cats.
Hey,
He's like,
on girls.
The staffers are looking over. He's like, please help me send talking points.
Yeah, he's got a Newton, and he's like, send. He writes it.
It's crazy.
I don't know if they still do that anymore, though.
Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe, and we'll see you all there.